What's up, everybody? This is Canna Corner with Candis Dyer. We go live from Candis Dyer Facebook page every Monday at 7 o'clock. We are brought to you by KM 420 Radio, COCW, the Human Solution International, Walk for Change, WJAE 420 Radio. And so we love our sponsors a lot, the people who support and love us. Of course, we've got uh, Miss Farrah Hunter. Hey, love, in the house down there in chats. She's KM420, Cushmaster 420 Radio, if y'all didn't know what KM stood for. She's on KM420radio.com on Mixler, and they rebroadcast Canna Corner every Sunday. I believe it's 2 and 6. I don't know. I got my times a little mixed up because, as y'all know, I haven't done this in a while. So normally I'm really good with the times and stuff. But then Wendy Love Edge, we are broadcasted again on her show, WJAE 420 radio.com, and y'all can go follow her, and she rebroadcast it. The new time is going to be Wednesday, so y'all definitely can check the rebroadcast on both those days if you miss. And then of course we've got Canna Corner YouTube, so lots of ways for y'all to listen and educate the public on the benefits of cannabis and get people stories out, because doing walks, one thing that I would see time and time again is people coming up, man, thank y'all so much for doing this. Thank y'all so much for all y'all are doing. And they would be like, my granddaughter has seizures and she really needs this, or my grandfather is dying of cancer and he really needs this. So those stories are important to me to be able to get out, to help to educate the public that cannabis isn't so dangerous. So that's what this show is all about, why we started it, and to let y'all know about the awesome, amazing activists we have out there. Speaking of, GI Mary Jane, y'all, she's with Platoon 420, and I'm going to be bringing her on. Hi, love. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. I hear you now. Awesome. Hi, love. How are you doing?
Doing great. It's awesome to see you. It's been so long.
I know, right? It's crazy. I know we're both very, very busy, but I do follow a lot of the stuff that you do on Facebook, and I always love and support anything you're doing. I love the show, The War Room, by the way. You do a great show.
Thank you.
Tell people who you are that don't know, and explain, what it is you do, and tell them about the War Room and how to get a hold of you and see and watch that.
Yeah, well, I am Joey Lee, the commander in chief, GI Mary Jane. Those last two names were bestowed upon me over the years. I've been a full-time activist since 2016, and really an activist my whole life. I was that kid that challenged the school board because the pH levels in our water were off in middle school.
Hell yeah.
So it goes back. I have worked with Normal. I sat on their board with the Maryland state chapter. I've testified in front of Congress. I've lobbied at both the state and the national levels. Most recently, I sit on the board with the Libertarian Party Psychedelic Caucus, which is the first political party with a psychedelic caucus in history. So I'm pretty humbled.
That's awesome.
to be able to be a part of that. And I will also be overseeing the events at the annual Smokin' at the White House for the next 5 years, 51st through 55th anniversary.
Oh, yeah. So it's going to be an annual thing then.
Yeah, actually, this all got started back in 1970 when it literally thousands of passionate freedom lovers, we called them hippies back then,
Right?
came and crashed Nixon's party. And all of a sudden, there was joints and love and happiness all over the place. And it all got started from there. They pulled a civil disobedience permit, which means that the DC Park Police, the sheriff, everybody knows that on July 4th at high noon, people will be gathering and in a display of civil disobedience and protected under the Constitution with their protesting rights, they will be smoking weed.
Hell
And
yeah.
we are allowed to do that without any fear of retaliation for that 1 hour block every year,
Right.
which, while I'm grateful for, it's kind of ridiculous because it just proves that it's not a big deal to them.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
It's
And
so
and we do get away with that here in Fort Worth. I don't know if people know this. Normal puts on an event. And I don't know what it is they do, but they do. We walked right down the streets with cops on both sides smoking. And for like you said, that 1 hour, you're allowed to just do it. So don't be scared. Y'all will be all right. This is gonna be at the White House.
Yeah,
And
Lafayette Park. And like I said, I grew up in Baltimore. So I remember in high school, yes, admitting to smoking this evil plant underage, but it kept me off of pills that I otherwise would have been on. But I remember going to the smoke in. You know what I mean? My friends would pile in the car, take the hour trip up there, and just sit and
hell
be at
yeah.
peace. I have this memory like yesterday of myself laying in the lawn with a friend drawing Sharpie art all over me. And I have a joint in my hand, just kind of
Wow.
staring and taking in all the scenery, and everybody was happy and wonderful.
It is
Um,
amazing, especially for those of us that are in a state where it's so illegal to be able to just for that 1 hour just not worry about it and not it's like relief, and you're still looking around the corner like fuck, like it's crazy all over a plant, like it's ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. I mean, people are literally dying over this, and
Yes.
I think as Americans, we can all agree that it's silly to lock people up. But people who will admit that, they kind of stop there. They don't
Right.
realize how deep this rabbit hole really goes. In early 2021, we lost Stephen Sutherland, who was a Missouri patient who went to jail for growing the medicine that was keeping him alive. And when they took him off of that medicine in jail, he passed away from his illnesses not too
So
long
fucked
after.
up.
And that's just one indication. We know what happened with Breonna Taylor. There was a 3-year-old little girl at the end of 2019 that got shot during a no-knock raid. I have no idea why this didn't make
Oh my
national news.
god.
But all this over a plant, and leading up to a world where we now, in a free country, live in a reality where we have the largest prison population in the world, and over 60% of those people are in there for non-violent crimes
It's
where they
so
did not
messed up.
create any victim. People argue, well, theft is non-violent. No, but theft is not victimless.
Right.
So whenever I reference non-violent crime, I bulk in that crime that
Right.
created a victim as well.
Yeah,
um,
exactly. Like I'm not taking anything away from you. I'm not hurting you. I'm not, you know what I mean? There's no victim involved. And I truly believe that. I think it's bullshit that anybody goes to jail for a victimless crime. Like it's crazy. And it's all about money.
and it turns us into the victims, and
Yes.
we the victims are paying for our own tyranny,
Yep.
through taxation and regulation, and even these semi-legal markets they have. It's not legal. For instance, in Nevada, you have to live, I think, 100 miles away from a dispensary in order to grow your own medicine. Otherwise, they can send men with guns after you. So even where it's legal, it's not. I do platoon420.com. I decided 2 years ago that there needed to be a voice
Yeah.
for these arrests from the perspective of the victims, because you
Right.
always you always hear us getting bad mouthed,
Oh yeah. I love
drugs and
how you
guns.
present things and you're like, instead of couple got arrested with marijuana, you're like victims got their medicine stolen. I love how you write up those articles, man. I
Yeah.
love that.
And I just wrote one about a week ago. There's a gentleman here in Colorado. The motherland, the first legal place. He is facing 38 years for growing weed right now. And it made me
Jesus
look up what the
Christ.
penalty for voluntary manslaughter was. Not
Right,
involuntary, not you accidentally killed somebody, but that
right,
you knowingly took a life.
right.
You can only get a maximum of 10 years for that. But 38 for growing a plant, there is a gross imbalance
It's
in.
ridiculous. It really is. That's ridiculous.
And if we're not going to legalize weed right away, at least let's balance that out so that
Right.
the punishments actually fit the crime. Maybe it's a
Exactly.
positive step forward, but we haven't even seen that, and
Right.
it's frustrating. I think what's important to get across too, and why the White House smoking is so important is Congress knows, right? They've
Right.
seen the stats, they've seen the bills, they've seen the science. It's happens every year. You've got normal, you've got ASA, you've got the marijuana policy project, all these
Right.
groups presenting all this information. It's in their lap. They
Yeah.
just
And
need
they
to do.
always say there's not enough information. Or I know here for I know you said that you testified. I'm sure it's a lot like this there. When we went to testify, there were two different groups against us. Just two. Like there was all these people there for it and two people against it. And it's sheriff's posse was one of them, and they were spewing reefer madness. Like it was all I could do to just sit there and not be like, "You're an idiot. That's not even true." Like, but you can't. And then the moms that I believe their kids smoked K2 saying it was weed because the stuff that they're talking that you hear that with K2, not cannabis. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
there's
saying? I mean, there are people that are allergic to it, and there, I guess that I don't, I've never heard of a death, and maybe they get a little anxious or whatever, but the things they were describing was more like K2, like going into psychosis and
Yeah, and
seizures and
you're taking the word of a 16-year-old that got busted by his parents. I highly
right,
doubt that person is going to be honest about everything. Oh no,
right,
mom, it's just little weed. That's
yeah,
but
exactly,
as we all say, no, it's just little weed, mom. It's a big deal, right? But
right.
that doesn't mean it's not. And even if it is more, should we be criminalizing these kids if they stumbled onto something that now gives them a physical addiction, something stronger than weed? Is criminalizing them and separating them from their family and telling them that they're bad, is that really going to help anything?
No,
I,
it ain't.
I
No, it
don't
makes
think
them worse. It makes them criminals when they go to prison, number one. And yeah, it's not good. They'll end up coming out with PTSD and all these other issues and shit. I would much rather my kids smoke weed than get on any of the hot oxycontin, hydrocodone bullshit the pharmacists give us. Like it's
it's a
crazy.
mess. I like what New Jersey's doing. Well, I like and dislike. The New Jersey bill, the recreational bill went through and it actually prohibited the police from approaching minors and arresting them
Oh
for weed. And I'm like,
wow.
look, you can't do anything about it. You leave those kids
Hell
alone,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's what the governor of New Jersey is all upset about. He's like, I can't extort these kids and their parents. Oh my God, I got to panic. We got to get this out of there.
So much
Uh,
money off of us by doing that. I mean, we don't
yeah,
even under realize how much money. So that's what they're looking at, their revenue. They don't give a fuck about us. We're supposed to protect and serve us, these police. We pay them to, but yet they're gonna put us in jail and in prison and ruin our lives for some fucking weed. Like it's ridiculous.
it really is. It really is. And meanwhile, the clearance rate on violent crimes is like 30 to 60%. Like they can't
Wow.
catch the guy who stole your car,
Right.
but they
And
can
all the
come
rape
bust your door
kits,
down.
man, all the rape kits sitting on the
It's
shelf.
it's rough. And you got to think about domestic violence victims. Like this is the one that I hear the most out there is, I could have gotten away, but I couldn't call the cops because we smoke weed and they'll
Right.
arrest us both. And they
Exactly.
legitimately will. If a victim calls about abuse and an officer shows up and one of the people has a black eye, but there's a bong on the table, you're both going to jail. You're both getting victimized.
I'm
You're both getting
actually someone who
criminalized.
can testify to that. I called the police because I was gang raped. They came to my house. There was a roach in the ashtray and they called CPS on us.
Mm.
Um, so I can definitely can say that yes, that does happen. I think we got froze. Can you hear me now? I think you froze for a minute. Maybe it was just my end of the computer, but yes. So they do that. And I had CPS come and investigate and everything. And I was a victim and they turned it into an awful thing. Like I quit smoking weed for my kids, of course, and everything. But uh yeah, I hate CPS. I'm scared to death of them. Like, why would you come? And the thing that gets me is that I was investigated a couple times by them, and they basically made me sign a paper saying that I would continue to take 3 milligrams of Xanax a day, and in order to take care of my daughter. So right now I'm kind of breaking the law as far as that goes, because I don't take any of that shit anymore. It made me fucking crazy and not care about anything I should care about. And cannabis, I don't have panic attacks. Like it's so much, so much, so much better.
You can be productive. Yeah, I mean, I'm in a similar situation, and a lot of moms are in it. And I'm glad you brought it up. It's so important for us to talk about it because we all feel a certain amount of shame, especially a mom, if you get separated from your child.
Right.
Like it seems to be even more shameful to a mother than it is to a father. No offense, guys. I'm not saying a child shouldn't be separated from either parent, period.
Right.
But
Right.
there's a
I
certain
agree.
biological pull that's harder when you've got a judge telling a mother that she's bad for her child.
Right.
A similar situation happened with me. I got into custody court right away. His father was like, "Oh, but she smokes weed," and I said, "Well, I do, but I've got this doctor's recommendation from my home
Right.
state that said we don't care if you don't stop and get on pills." And yeah, same thing. You need to sign a release
Yeah.
so we can talk to your doctors and we can baby you. And look, if you don't
Yeah.
take these pills, we're going to take your kid away. I turned into a monster on these pills. Got my first
Right.
DUI ever, my very first run in with police ever. I put the pills down because of that. I got a
Right.
second DUI because of the withdrawal symptoms, and then they took him anyway. I haven't seen my
Wow.
child face to face. It's going to be 3 years pretty soon. They put me on a
God, I'm so
supervised
sorry, love.
visitation, and there's nothing I
And
can
all
do
for
about
weed.
it. All for
All for
weed.
fucking weed.
They do that to dads over PTSD, military fathers too. It's separate discussion, but the family court
Right.
thing is ridiculous. And one of
Is.
the biggest things that they use in family court is cannabis use against a parent.
It's
And
messed up.
it breaks my
Really
heart.
is.
No judge is a doctor. That why I should take advice from somebody who never went to medical school.
Yep.
I can't I can't get behind this.
No, exactly. No, I agree. I'm so sorry, man. That sucks. I can't imagine. Luckily, I didn't have my daughter taken away either time. They just kind of come in and observe you and make sure you quit doing this stuff and then leave. But still, it's an invasion of your fucking privacy. And I cannot imagine having my kid kidnapped from me and not being able to see him so long. I mean, that's just heartbreaking. I'm so sorry, love.
I started visiting him at school because dad just wouldn't cooperate. But one day I actually left the school after having cupcakes and doing lunch and recess and all the fun mom kid things, and got put in handcuffs. His father had called and knew I'd have weed on me, and luckily all those charges got dropped. Now, but I had to go through a lot of stuff, and of course that put me in a position where I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I can't. I'm no good to my child if I'm in
Right.
jail. None of us are.
Right.
Luckily, though, Virginia just legalized, so I have like huge plans to go give this
Hell
kid a
yeah.
dog
There you
if
go.
if they ever get back into school because of the COVID restrictions. For
I
crying
know,
out loud.
right? It's crazy. Luckily, we right now Andrea goes to school in Keene. We're in a very small town, and there's not really a lot of that going on right now. So, but she was on the homeschool thing for a while, almost the whole year. And
Yeah,
man, that's hard on parents to build up, like be a teacher and do everything you got to do. Like it's crazy,
it was a blessing to me in a way because I got
right?
more face time with my kid. His dad's at work.
Right.
Mom, I need help with homework. I'm like, you call me whenever you want, kid. Uh,
Oh yeah. Yeah, my daughter didn't want to do work at all. It was a fight. So
But imagine if it weren't for cannabis prohibition, I could be helping him in person right now.
right.
This
Yes.
is prohibition has not only affected me, it's negatively affecting my child, your
Yes.
child.
exactly.
It's not, we are all victims of
Yeah, well,
the,
on the child's point, I mean, we smoke and we have to smoke. So, they don't, they're not allowed to have so many friends come over because you're worried about them running off and telling their parents. And so, yes, even with a mom that living with them, it affects them that way, having to always worry about who might find out mom has to smoke weed for medicine.
oh yeah,
Like, it's crazy.
I sat as a volunteer on the PTA when he was in first grade, and when they found out about my medical weed, I didn't get invited back. It was
God.
like that. So there's a lot. Um, I wonder. And there's got to be some Canna mommies movement out there
Right.
specifically for moms. I wonder if
Yes,
there's,
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there definitely is. If
we got to get
not, then somebody should make one.
totally. We got to get them out in DC. So
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
So one more time, love DC. What all are you going to be doing? Talk a little bit about that and what date it is, time, and where everybody can meet up.
Well, it is July 4th, Independence Day, where we are going to scream how we are still waiting for our independence in regards to cannabis. High noon at Lafayette Park, and that's the park that sits right between the White House and the Washington Monument there. So for an hour from noon to 1 o'clock, we are free to do what we want, depending on the kind of funds and resources we can raise. We really want to blow this up. We want to have stages. We want to have LED screens. We want to have some sort of musical entertainment.
Oh yeah.
And we have permits to facilitate all these things. On 420, we're actually going to be running a virtual fundraising event with some rallies, some
Oh yeah.
awesome guest cameos, some live feeds from every time zone on 420 to
Awesome.
try to raise funds, to try to get commitments from grassroots groups that say, hey, we've got sound equipment, we'll commit
Right.
to throwing down our sound, or whatever the case may
Right.
be. It's one
Oh
thing
man,
I've
I
learned
would so
about.
love to go. I
Yeah,
I
well,
hope
hopefully
I'm
we
able
can
to. Man,
um,
I've never been to Washington, so uh, it would be fucking awesome to be able to go up there and do it federal level. You know what I mean? Because I always do the state level, but I've never done the federal yet. So
that'd be awesome. Well, unfortunately, we are accepting the reality that we've got the COVID restrictions to keep on our radar.
right.
We've got the National Guard presence in DC right now, so we have no idea what that's going to look like. The 50th anniversary, which would have happened on 2020, was kaput because nobody was allowed out anywhere. Um, I've got my own thoughts about that. It is a civil disobedience event,
Right.
so shouldn't
Right.
all
Right.
civil disobedience fall into that? But we want to keep people safe and comfortable. We don't want to turn this into anything more than it is. So at the very least, if the scene on July 4th is the same as it is today, it might just be a band on a stage and a podium and a couple of speakers and a live feed event. But we're going to make sure that this event keeps going so that we can say it's been continual
That's
every
awesome.
single year. I think only a dozen people actually came out in 2020 just to say it happened,
Right.
just to keep that tradition going. It doesn't matter if it's thousands or like a dozen, as long as we're there for the event, we're there.
Well, let's try to get lots of people. So if you're in the Washington area, y'all, the smoke in at Washington Lafayette Park. How can people find you, GI
Uh,
Mary Jane?
Platoon420.com. You can find the drug war news there. You can find links to the War Room, which is now streaming on all major podcast networks,
Oh, yeah.
thanks to some awesome sponsors in 2020. Um, all the information's right there. And as the smoking information comes out, it'll be published on that page as well. The website for the smoking is smokin.us, but it's not live yet.
Okay.
Actually, what we're waiting on, since your viewers are listening now, is a logo. We haven't gone live because of lack of a logo, and we don't want to pay some stranger graphic artist over
Right.
Fiverr. We really want somebody from the community to put their love into this and their
Well,
art.
Farrah made my logo. Hey, maybe you can make a logo for the smoke in at the White House.
Yeah, it's a big deal. We're going to be using.
So what do they email their logo? Maybe you should do something like everybody send in their version of logo and then you have a vote to pick the best logo or whatever. That would be awesome too.
Oh, you're back. You froze on me for a second.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Oh shoot. Where did I lose you at?
I have no idea. I was still talking when it got out, I
Okay.
think.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say that Farah made my logo for Canna Corner, and maybe she could work out something, or you could do something like have everybody that's listening, if you have a logo design, then you can email it to GI Mary Jane, and then they can do like a vote on it or something, like what the best
Yeah.
logo is or something. Make a
If
fun thing out of it.
you want to throw something out there, it's info@platoon420.com. We'll get the files. We've got a small planning team consisting of the last 10-year planning team that's helping this new team.
I lost your, oh, I got you now. You're back now. Okay, well, shit. So yeah, y'all send that stuff to her. I'm not sure what they saw and what they didn't. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what's going on right now, but it dropped out for a minute on us. But
Skynet.
this was a great show, man. We got a lot out there. We talked about a lot, and thank you so much for coming on. And anytime that you have anything going on, hit me up and we'll get you on so you can talk about it.
Absolutely. And I'd love to have you on the War Room in a couple of weeks here coming up.
Anytime. Just hit me up.
Awesome. Thank you, love.
I love you very much, and you have a wonderful day.
Hey, you too.
I'm gonna try to, there we go. See if I can get you. There she goes. Okay. Haha, she did it. Yeah. Cool, y'all. So that was GI Mary Jane. I love her. She is so sweet. She is an amazing activist. She does a lot for the community, cannabis community. And if y'all can go check her out, follow her, and keep an eye on her because she's great. She's someone you really want to keep an eye on. Hey, baby. I see Farrah's here. Kim Fogelman, what's up, love? Sorry, y'all. I haven't been following. Michelle, love y'all. Casey. Please share, like, Curtis. What's up, everybody? Thank y'all so much for watching. Share, pass it on, get the information out there. I have a few other things that I wanted to talk to y'all about before we end the show. So I wanted to tell y'all about Labrie. Brandy, she's Brandy Steptoe on Facebook. She does these little Labrie sells face stuff, okay? Like for wrinkles and deep pore cleanse and rejuvenating facial peel and stuff. And she sent me some samples, and I told her that whenever I tried them, I would do like a review on them. So that's what I'm doing today. This is what I'm talking about right now. It's Labrie Pure and Natural. And I will put Brandy's link in the bottom of the comments as soon as the show's over. But so I tried it. I put a picture on Facebook. I let y'all see that I tried it. I loved it. You got the exfoliating face scrub that you use first. And then the one thing that I do know that I want to tell y'all about is this rejuvenating facial peel. I loved it, but I gotta tell you a funny thing. Okay, so I put it on my face, and when you read that, you're kind of like peel. So how many of y'all have used those little like peel off masks? So that's kind of what I thought it was gonna be. So I'm sitting there with my husband, and I itched my face, and I'm like, man, I was like, it's not drying, like, you know what I mean, to be peeled. It was like 5 minutes. I'm sitting there, and Jason's like, well, is it supposed to? Maybe you need to go read the package. And I was like, well, maybe I didn't mix it up or whatever. So I went and I read the package, and it said it's not it's a peel. It's cool, but I've never had one of these before. But you do kind of this, and it comes up like it's a peel, but it's just not a peel. You don't peel it. But I love it. It works great. I've only used it a couple times, but So far, so good. You got the moisturizer, you've got the gentle freshener. She told me to put this one up for now and use these, and then in 5 days use this, because she didn't want me to like stress out my face or anything. But you got this smooth firm eye repair gel and stuff. I really like her products. They're really good. They're all natural, aloe vera, of course. And you know what, they even have makeup. I seen that, I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna order some makeup. So I will let y'all know more as soon as I'm used it for like a couple days, because of course we know we gotta use it. By the way, my birthday's tomorrow and I'm gonna be 41, so I've got to make sure I try to keep an eye on my wrinkles and shit, so that I don't end up like all wrinkly. All y'all women can understand what I'm saying. And then another one that I wanted to review, y'all, is the CBD anti-aging eye treatment from Willow Creek Springs, willowcreeksprings.com, y'all. This is good stuff. I love it. I use it every day and night. And then also the CBD hot and cold joint muscle rub. I use the liquid form like this, but I'm all out of it. So I use this now. But I really like the red one. And this one that I got is the nano CBD with 300 milligrams. And then this one is how many milligrams? It doesn't say. Okay, but it's good shit. I love them both. So willowcreeksprings.com. If you have nerve pain, hey Christy, thank you, love. If you have nerve pain, you know how it like radiates down your arm or down your legs. And if pain medicine does not touch that, it feels like a cramp is in your arm all the time and it never goes away. This shit touches it, takes it away, makes it go bye-bye. So I love that shit. Hell yeah. So I do not sell that product, Willow Creek Springs, but of course I love Joe at Grumbine, and he's an amazing person. He's always using his money that he makes with Willow Creek Springs to fund and help THSI. So he's giving back to the community, and I love businesses like that are willing to, even though they're making money, they're willing to use some of that money to help legalize, because that's what we need, you know. So yes, great products, love them. And I wanted to talk to y'all about the concert that's coming up in Colorado with Nico Cashin. It's brought to you by Mountain High 10 Radio. It's going to be March 22nd. No, March 22nd is when the Sarge is going to be coming on Canna Corner to talk about this event. But the event is going to be April 15th. I got it written down here. Sorry, April 17th, from 4 to 12. They are going to be doing a Mountain High 10 presents Shutdown Can't Stop Us 420 event. So that's going to be amazing. I'll have the Sarge here on the 22nd to talk about all that, where it's at, who's all going to be there, who's all going to be performing. But KM420 Radio and Canna Corner are going to be there, and THSI Texas chapter are going to be there representing. And then of course we're going to be checking out some stuff always in the back of our mind for Alternative Healing Farms, which stay tuned for more about that. That's changing daily, and I cannot wait to go and be living on a little community with all my besties and growing our own food and growing our own medicine and raising our own animals for food and getting more self-sufficient, having a garden. Mandy with Seeds for Change is going to be coming up there and helping us set up the garden, teaching us how to cultivate it, water it, nourish it, and all that good stuff. So we're going to be learning that. And the whole time we're doing this, y'all, we're going to be going live and showing y'all how we're doing it. The mistakes, the funny parts, the frustrating parts, all of it. All of it's going to be live. So it's going to be so much fun. Thank you, Michelle. So stay tuned for more alternative healing farms. Make sure Adele Wilson, y'all, Adela Wisdom. I don't know why I said Wilson. She's doing a show called The Talking Circle. And I really love the idea of it. It's from Native Americans when they get together in the talking circle and talk about problems. And yet they would smoke and talk about the problems in the community and how they can fix and change them. So this is kind of how this show is. Adela Wilson is the host of it, and she has several guests that come on. And I will be on tomorrow at 4:20. Uh, I will put the link to her Facebook page in the comments below so you can figure out how to watch that. Awesome. Well, I think I covered everything that I needed to cover. And I had an amazing time with y'all. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Um, I am greatly appreciate each and every one of y'all. And oh, the RV life. We're loving it, y'all. Should have done it a lot sooner. Every night it's like me and my husband just sit there and look around and be like, you know what? I love this. I love this house. Like, we're content, we're happy. We can't wait to get it to Colorado. But cool. I love y'all. Peace.